facilitator for the session that we'll be having. It's an interactive session, and please feel free to stop me at any given time so that we can be able to share one or two things. I'm seeing in the crowd some familiar faces, so nawakaribisha tena Mombasa. So in my classes I usually begin with an exam. Si tulisema tumekuja kusoma? Yeah? Tuliambia our family tumekuja kusoma. So I'd want for us to pick a piece of paper, a clean piece of paper. Tuanze na inaitangwa ni rapid assessment test. Ama ni CAT. So with a piece of paper, this test you should do on your own. See joint. Easy questions. At the end of the questions, I'll have a reward for the person who will have all the correct answers. So everybody has a piece of paper? So question 1. Now you will give your neighbor after we finish so that they can confirm the exam. So question 1. What is the name of the room we are in? Yoni rahisi, si ndio? Si tumekuwa hapa ni siku ngapi siku ile? The name of the room we are in. This room. See discussion, naona. It's individual. So that's question 1. Question 2. Na by the way, room iko na jina. Question 2. What is the name of the facilitator who took us through achieving work-life balance yesterday? I was privileged to be here, and the facilitator, it was an interactive session. So the name, both names. Question 3. Question 2, I repeat. What is the name of the facilitator whom took us through achieving a work-life balance yesterday? We had a session yesterday on work-life balance, and we had a facilitator. So her names, hata nimepatiana clue. Question 3. What is the capital city of Australia? Question 3. What is the capital city of Australia? Then question 4, and which is the last. What is the cost of a liter of petrol in Kenya currently? In Nairobi. Sisi ni swali rahisi. Si hapa ni 4 to 4. 4 to 4, si ndio? So we can mark. But I trust you. But I want to verify that indeed tumefanya vizuri. So if you have a colleague who's next to you, if you can give them that piece of paper tusaidiane to mark. Let's exchange. Question number 3. Capital city of Australia? Sydney, Canberra, which is which? The correct answer, Canberra. Kama mtu ameandika Sydney, mark accordingly. Sydney is not the capital city of Australia, it's Canberra. Then question 4, which is the last one? Cost of a liter of petrol in Nairobi? What? 129 points? 129 points? So kama ameandika 120, 129, kama ameandika 129.7, that is the correct one. So let's evaluate. 4 to 4. 4 to 4. And I'll tell you why I've asked those questions. So I can see 2 hands up. Let's appreciate them. 4 to 4. 3 to 4. Zimeongezeka. Let's appreciate them. 2 out of 4. Namba sijui imeshuka kidogo. Weka mkono vizuri. Haya, let's appreciate them. 1 out of 4. Hiyo ndio watafika watu wengi. Let's appreciate them. Hapana, kuna watu wengine hataki kuamini. 0 out of 4. Wako, let's appreciate. So I'll tell you why I've asked those questions. And it's important as we begin this session. I really want to be brief. So the first question is the room of where we are. Sometimes numbers, but you do not accept what then they mean to us. Because the name of the room has been down there. For 4 days, we have been coming up here, and for sure inatupita tu. So mine is not to judge you, just to share some of the things that we then tunaachilia. Question 2 was about the facilitator. Having been in training sessions like this one, the last day, Friday, kuna wenye wanasikia huyu jamaa malize tuingie wapi? Kwa beach, si ndio? So there's always that bit. Facilitators will be here, but you find you leave the same way you came. There's nothing that has been added to your bottom place. Yesterday I came in, nikakaa pahali kule. Kwa hivyo naomba watu wangu wa kule mwisho. Nilikaa kule na tuwakala na kashot nikisikiza hiyo session. But what I liked, I picked a lot from the lady who stood here to present on achieving work-life balance. Then question 3, capital city of Australia. Sometimes it's always important to know. From a young age, from 0 to 5 years, we moved to 5 years to 20 years, we are fully dependent on others in terms of our finances. You have your parents who then take care of you. You have your siblings who then also take care of you. As you move further from 25, 55 onwards, this is the part where you gain financial independence, where it's now you, yourself, who's able to take care of your finances by your own self. Anything that you make, any decision that you make, then you are the author of that decision and the impact there. So you find some of us, we are in our workplaces, because one, we are looking at, I have bills to pay, so this is actually a means to an end. Najua, it's what I'll get at the end of the month that then pushes me to work. Hiyo mwezi kikuja, you are not being paid, unasema wacha ikae. I've shared something here. I'm still on financial management. This I just took a sneak peek of some of our funds. Simu ya nani inakaa hivi? Imejaza app. Hizo app tunaona ni za nini? Jambo Pay, Inua Jamii, Kopa, Mshwari, Inuka Loan. Na sijui kwa nini, either in my other duty, in KCB, sijui kwa nini naonanga ingine ya KCB, KCB M-Pesa. And we find some of us, if we're honest, if we open our phones, this is what takes care of the memory, apps. And why? Sometimes unatoka kwa gani, tuanzie Jambo Pay. Umanza na Jambo Pay. Jambo Pay ikikuja inahitaji kulipo na download. Inua Jamii. Inua Jamii ikikuja when it's due, una download Copper Loans. And the second, is this familiar? Is this familiar? Nasikia yes, na no. I'm not here to judge. I'm here for us to see how then can we be able to assist. Sometimes when I sit with individuals, as we have had, I'm a financial management consultant, we normally just calculate. From your end, we start calculating what is the interest payable for each. Na sometimes inakaka ni kidogo, unaona umepatiwa hapa 2,000, ukuje download hawa, uchukue 2,500 ndio lipe hawa. Siku na 500, then ukuje hapo download, uchukue 3,000 ndio 2,500 lipe hawa, ndio walipe hawa, ikuje hivi. Once you calculate all your interests that you have paid, you see it's quite a lot of where you are losing money. So mine will just be taking you through a high level engagement on debt management and what you can be able to do with it. So there is some financial hypothesis here, and you will assist me to answer, is it true or false? I need a higher income to save. Is it true or false? False, senior. Number 2, like especially the youths. If I fake it, I will. If I fake it, I will. So sasa kila mtu akiona kila kitu yako anasema mtu alikafu. Watu wa Nairobi ndio watumia hiyo language. Alikafunga. But when you dig deeper, you're actually moving from here to, from where we sit at our back end. There was a time we were looking at the big levels kwa hizo loans zetu. Tuangalia, when do customers borrow? And we were surprised before curfew. Saa 7 za usiku, saa 8 ndio peak borrowing. Saa 7 tu, and what happens? Sometimes I sit with people na kwambia cha ukweli, wanaume ndio tunai makosa. Niliamua acha nichafue. Uchafue meza. Siko Mombasa pia. Si leo jioni unasema si watu wa records watajua pia mimi niko mbele. So hata leo jioni uchafue meza. Na umeingia umekopa na ikuja ikudai bado. Na mnauliza institutions zinatengeneza pesa wapi? So you say you fake it until you make it. All credit is bad. True or false? False, senior. Question 4. A personal car is an investment. False. Hii najua inakuanga na shida. A personal car is an investment. True or false? False, true. True. Lote is session interactive, so we'll end with true. Who supports true? Nilikuwa sikia true hapa, nimebaki nimeona kule nyuma. Part of what I normally propose is having investment property, so that at the age of 20 it's 10%, 20 to 30 it's 10%, 31 to 40 it's 20% of your overall income. As you move, inaende kipande kishuka. This in green is property. Why? Property appreciates. Sindio? The bottom in blue is equities. Shares, so that it's actually proposed between the ages of 20 and 30. You actually buy shares. And some of us to link into this illusion, then we didn't have good good backing. So if you are saving 10 to 15% of your gross pay, you actually one step in the right direction of being rich. If you are saving, what is highly encouraged, we will be having a session, I think, on retirement. So if you are saving 20% of your income, you're in a good space. If you read a book, and I'll really encourage us who are here, there's a very good book called The Richest Man in Babylon. How many of us have read it? 1, 2. It's a very short book. So what are some of the money management mistakes that we normally have? 1. Number 2, negative money emotions. Nasikianga siku hizi tunasema tumia money hadi kuzoea. Na unasikia ninyi mmemalizia, si mimi. Unatumia pesa hadi kuzoea? Wewe na pesa nani wanafaa zoeane? Na normally sio. Tumia pesa hadi kuzoea. Then professional money mourners. Sina. You have a good investment, you're being told this is a good investment. Sometimes tunaona watu insurance wanakuja. Na ukiona watu insurance, hata kabla ongee, akisema no insurance, sina. Siezi. I cannot, sina. Unakuja unaambiwa na colleagues tumeshikana kama chama, tumeona pale shamba tumeweka, tunataka tuamshe nyumba. Mimi sina. Na leo jioni download KCB pesa chafu. Leo chama ilikuwa 5,000. Na umechafua hapa meza ya huku. 5,000. Sina. 2, and money mistakes, delusion. Niweka hapo condom mentality. Sometimes following the masses. Umeona jirani wako amekuja anaweka coins. Iko umeona hii kitu ina biashara. Sasa hiyo ndio kukuambia hauna. Umeona huyu kama ameweka coins, si pia mimi niweke? Then kuna chomeka. Kuna pyramid scheme, atileta mtu mmoja you earn from nyingine sijui nini. Umefuatana hapo ofisi nzima, nyinyi ni members. Kakiunguka hata mletewe hapa work life balance. Nyinyi wote mlifuatana kama mkaingia pahali. So yes, always be that one person who normally sits and checks. Does this investment make sense? And 3, digging financial grave. You're digging your own financial grave. You have worked for several years, and at the end of the day, you have nothing that you can be able to count. After working 20, 30, 40 years, unaweza sema, this belongs to me. My father worked in the civil service for a long time, from 1978, I think, to some years back. He retired, but the one thing tuwakumbukanga alikuwa ni mashamba. Kienda nini kama hii anakaa na kwambia nimepata hii pesa, nitakuwa ninipadie. Nilianza kujua hiyo jina kitambo. Wanakaa na maadeo wanaongea. Wanakaa wanaongea individually, family. Sema na kapadiem naenda Mombasa. Akiweko yeye anafaa kuja Friday na atafuta kale kwa hoteli kazuri, ka expensive, ka cheap, ana save pesa akitoka after hiyo ametafuta mtu amenunua kapali, kachamba. So these days is what he sells. Kenya alitufundisha ni hii ni yangu tafuteni ye. Ikabadilika dakika kidogo hii ni yangu na wajukuu. Wewe tafuta babu yako akupatie vitu. Vitu zako. But at least he has a safety net somewhere. Hata sometimes nikikimbizana lazima kuokota bima house pension yake, at least atakosa ka kitu hivi na hivi. But once in a while anatumianga paybill ananiambia Wewe ni fan wa Arsenal, mimi wa Manchester, tumewashinda, tuma kitu hapo. So you must have a safety net. The biggest problem I normally see is that sometimes when I'm called upon to engage, especially people who are achieving pre-retirement, and you get somebody anakuja anakuambia, unajua sasa unaenda nimevaa vazi yangu ile ya kawaida ya KCB, so nimeenda kuongelesha. So tukionekana tunaambiana nyinyi watu wa loan, si ndio? So kabla uongee unasikia mimi hata sijui chukua loan, payslip yangu ni clean. Na mwanzo umebakisha miaka ngapi? Urita 2. Ndio hata tuongee kando. Why? Some of us where we are, if you leave that payslip, then some of the financial institutions may not look at you the way you are. And usually for KCB members, I normally encourage them. If you have your own business, and your own business makes 500,000, turnover of 500,000 per month, turnover, walk to any KCB and see how easy it is to get a loan. Bila payslip ni ngumu. Why? One, we must see your succession. Lazima tukuje tuangalie biashara, si wewe. Tuangalie, is your spouse in the business? Are your kids in the business? And sometimes tutapelekwa hivi na hivi na hivi, but based on some of the things that we check, tutajua hii biashara kumbe ni ya mzee pekee. So mzee akienda, pesa yetu itae. But at the same time, some of us, your payslip labda imefinyika, you can come and take a loan of that amount. So yes, start making that financial safety. So, as in the first few slides, we were looking at debt. So these are cases of bad debt. One, they're usually short term. You take a credit card, you have to pay within 45 days. After that, it starts earning. Sometimes I give customers credit card, anaambia nilishiwa, nimeenda kutoa pesa kwa ATM, kwanza namsimamisha. Why? From where I sit, even though it makes more money for the bank, with a credit card, if you go and withdraw, you actually are charged higher than when you swipe. So namwambia ulitaka kununua maziwa mkate, enda kwa supermarket, swipe that card. Instead of being charged 8%, you'll be charged a rate of 3% if you don't pay within 45 days. So bad debt, one, they're usually short term. Two, hapa iliongelelewa jana, nilisikia swali liulizwa huko nyuma. Umevaa bosa muona nguo, si ndio? Na sasa wewe kuendelea hiyo kitu, kuna some of us, and I don't know if we have them here. Kwa jamaa wako wa nguo uko na account, si ndio? Na ukipata wale watu wana biashara atakwambianga kuja uchukue tu, usiwe na shida. Chukua utali. Na some of them they your colleagues, si ndio? Anakwambia usijali ile boutique si tuko naye tu. Wewe chukua. So that you open an account. Why this is a consumer product you're utilizing? Is it earning additional money to you? No. So I ask, please check. 3, hire purchase. Some of the zile apps niliweka pale ni kama hire purchase. Some of them go up to 30% interest rate. So please check on that. So debt in itself is not bad. Good debt, they're usually long term. A home loan, a motor vehicle, as I said. Kuna some wenye wamechukua gari na zikikuwa hapo, ukiuliza samo sile kunywa chai, naona jamaa anafungua na angalia. Unasikia jamaa akwambia niko na tuuba 3, 4. Yuko hapa, passive income zinaendelea kufanya kazi. So under debt management, let's assume Maybe where you are, you made maybe one or two wrong decisions, and you're looking at how then can you overcome this. So one, you just need to have a plan. So this is just some numbers just to look at it when ukibaki pale ukijita mkutano. How then do you move from here? If your debt to income, meaning your debt, what you have, loans zote, pesa zote, account kule kwa duka, kwa nguo, zote if you calculate them, if it's 15% of your overall income, what you are getting, it's a red flag. You need to start approaching with caution. If it's between 15 to 20%, please do not add any additional debt. You are fully extended. So you are commission. You can't accommodate that. At 21 to 30%, you are fully extended. If more than 30%, and that's why I like what Madam Malika Kaamka, she's bold enough. You need to seek help immediately. Siati ni kubaya kama ile ya daktari, lakini tutakuja tukapata pahali, si ndio? And we normally see it and manifesting itself under mental health issues. So you need to check on it. So how can you be able to overcome this? One, face your debts and accept your position. The first bit is accepting your position. Two, stop accumulating further debt. 3, list all debts that you have with an idea of how much is owed. The goal is to find a way of paying them off. 4, determine the order of paying each debt. 5, try and reduce unnecessary spending. If instead of kwenda eating out, uko pale kazini, it won't harm. Upitie kwa supermarket, ununue kalatibox kazuri, unakaa unaambia either your house manager antengeneze kitu kadogo, you reduce the cost. Speak to people you owe money. Usitoroke. One thing as bankers we normally encourage, usitoroke. Utatoroka utaikwa CRB, si ndio? Ukiwekwa CRB kutolewa kuna cost. Please speak to the people that you owe. Tell them this is the way I'm looking at how I'll pay you. Pay at least the minimum installments due, even if it's not the interest. Pay the minimum installment. Keep away from micro lenders, Shylocks. Usione unaambiwa you read immediate help ukimbie kwa Shylock. Hapo ndio shida imeanzia. If you can avoid, please, I encourage you. If you are within a bank, just ask them, even though Doiko, how can I be able to be assisted? Take even that bit of small loan from whichever bank or SACCO to token. Try and pay things on cash. It's easier usually to pay on cash because you can bargain. Lastly, do not gamble. Maingia tuliona zilitoka nani kina SportsPesa, the rest zimekuja you want to gamble. And some of us tunasemanga inaitwa sure bet, ndio? Na niko sure hapa kuna walimu wa Kiingereza. Kuna kitu kama sure bet. Can a bet be sure?
No.
Can a bet be sure? Leo tunasema ndio hii sure bet. Part of the sure bet ni timu ya Arsenal. And I'm an Arsenal fan. Hiyo ndio kama umano umecha. So gambling won't be able to assist you. So I'm rushing through, but I'll share this with your team. So you are looking at effective money management. So one, as I had said, you need to pay yourself first. If savings has become an issue, you can actually advise payroll. They deduct from source. 2, you can have a standing order in your bank. This is when you know cha ukweli, money ikiingia hautaweza kusave. 3, ensure you also take care of your health. The second item, you need to develop and use a spending plan budget. Have money for savings, for entertainment. Ensure that all your expenditure is actually planned for and is for that particular moment. 4, avoid impulse purchases. Usione kitu imekuja then unasema hii deal nzuri. Ile deal nzuri. Look at it. Is it necessary to purchase that item at this time? Shop sensibly, compare prices. Adole mtu amefungua account, maybe prices zake ziko juu. So you need to shop around and see. The last item, control debt costs. Figure out what the interest cost on your loans. Importantly, register for it under retirement benefit scheme to reduce taxes. I'm sure my colleague will be able to touch more based on this. Hatukuwa na yeye nikitengeneza hii presentation, so I actually encourage people to register for a scheme. Look at taxes. By the way, to be honest, if you have a mortgage, the first thing you can actually ask for owner occupier. You actually unarudishiamo pesa na government. So if you have a house, please make sure you are residing in that house. I think you share with that your employer. Then there is an amount you actually are returned to. I'm actually a beneficiary of this. Kama uko na nyumba umejenga na mortgage unakatwa, that deduction please share with your payroll. Unarudishiamo pesa na inarudishiamo kwa net pay yako. So 3, take life insurance as tax relief. So I want to end it there because when nilisema Friday, najua kuna mtu alikouliza namaliza saa ngapi session iishe. So I've left you with my contacts, they are there. As I said, Albert Kago, my number is there. Feel free to engage myself. I'm a certified trainer. When you have your own chama, mwataka watu kuongelesha, you have employees within your department that you need somebody to engage with, please, these are my contacts. Feel free, share, we'll be able to support you. At this juncture, I want maybe to end it there and pick a question or two if we have.
That was a very powerful presentation. Who knows what unlocking debt assets is? Do you understand unlocking debt assets? Mbona hukumuuliza Albert swali? Yeah? No, I didn't take it because that was not my topic. But it was a very interesting topic. How many of you have debt assets? Me, I have. Tutasikia tukienda. Anyway, my name is again Raymond B. I head the sales and marketing unit at CPF Group. And I bring you again greetings from the CPF family. It's a very, very big family. My colleagues were here on Tuesday and they really talked about CPF Group. We are proud members also of Karma as a corporate and as individuals. That is with my colleague Dirangu, Kirui. And what you guys do is very important. And it forms also one of the bases of our daily operations in the CPF Group. Okay? when you talk about financing, of course, there are those things which aid financing from A to Z. And one of them is the processes, the procedures. And all those processes and procedures are supposed to be documented. So who does the documenting? It's me, the user. But who keeps the documents? Yeah? Who keeps the documents? Si ni watu wa records. Hiyo document yako ndio nitawacha kazi niende kampuni nyingine. Ikikuja kuulizwa nani anatoa? Yeah? So who says I'm important in records management? Yeah? Okay, fine. When we go to where I sit and where I work and what I try to add as value to people's life, then I ask, who is retired? And who is ready to retire?
For example, I think you listened to the news yesterday. There's an issue of cancer. Yeah? There's an issue of cancer. There are people who are told to work from home for 30 days. And I had a procurement officer saying, I didn't even have time to put my documents together, and it's like I'm going to get a sack letter. So from that perspective, I'm telling myself, I'm ready to retire. Because tomorrow, I don't know what is going to happen. For one, I have a shamba in the village. I travel there in 2 weeks, then Analima. So even if today I'm told you cannot come to the office, I have a shamba where I go and plow, I do rice farming, and I do what? I get my money, so I not cry about it. I'll be very proud. Secondly, by that time, like right now, I have adults. I don't have a young kid. I have people in campus, and in the next 2-3 years, I will not have school fees to pay. So my family will be able to do what? To take care of that. I have a land that I've purchased. It is somewhere. It is an asset. So if the worst comes to the worst, I can sell it and still survive. You know? Yeah. And I have a home in my county. So if I'm told today, you're not supposed to be in Nairobi, I'll go to that house of mine. You know, you're gonna car, you're gonna kill a kid. You know. Pardon? I will not pay rent. So that is what I'm saying today. If I'm told, Beba, Bizigoya, Enda, I will not cry. That's it, Aponda.
The first thing that made me to be ready for retirement is encouragement by the staffs. A number of staff who are retired.
That's not one meeting.
The staff who are retired before us, 90% of them, 90% of the staff who are retired, yeah, in our presence, whenever I see them younger than the one leaving the hospital. 95%. Asking them why are you coming younger instead of aging, they are telling me, first of all, there are some stresses in the working place, but when you're working, you don't know. Secondly, you prepare yourself to have something. When you retire, you prepare yourself that you'll be earning something, you need a pension, like you in it. So, mimi nimejiprepare, kama vile mwanano amesema. Alafu, the second thing, I don't stay in Nairobi throughout. I associate people from Ushango na Nairobi. So that hata nikiretire nikiwa sitakuwa nimemaliza nyumba Nairobi, nikirudi Ushango, have a company. Yeah? So, I'm using niko Nairobi and niko Ushago. So, we psychologically, I'm okay. Thank you. And the meaning, nimeona nimejenga nyumba nyingine Nairobi kama vile nimejenga Ushago. 100% prepared.
I'm about to retire, but I'm not prepared to retire. The reason is, my pension, my retirement pension is not where I thought would be to give me income that I think can sustain me in my retirement age. Number two, according to Albert Kabwe, I'm dead broke. So then the loans that I have, if I get that retirement package from my employer, I will only use it to clear my loans. So I will be left with nothing. So I had planned to build something so that I can be getting some income. But I have not reached there. And as you have heard, I'm not very far from retiring. So that's my challenge.
Thank you. When a child is born, and I work 9 months, he's always a dictator. Sindio? Up to 18 years. Akisema usiponunulia kitabu sitaenda shule utafanya nini? Yeah? You are one day also a dictator. Yeah? And you have dictators now in the house. Because what are they doing? It's what Albert was saying. They still depend on you. You are their caretaker. Now, upende usipende, you will have to take the command. You get it? But it will come a time when you are over 18 and things must change. Okay? You want to start taking responsibilities. You see? You are a grown-up. You have reached that stage of being an adult. So that is the time you need to take responsibilities. And what happens when you want to take responsibilities? You must be empowered. And being empowered means resources. And it calls you now for what? Utafuta nini? Utafuta kazi? Ndio upate nini? Si pesa. So that you meet your regular needs. And when you do that, and you always find you are also part of them, you are also part of them, you will make noise. Hii serikali ni mbaya kwa sababu hakuna nini? Hakuna kazi. But see, one day your prayers were answered. And you are where you are, and that your parents also got somewhere. And when you got to that stage of being employed, what happens? You keep quiet because you are able to meet all the financial needs. Yeah? Whether adequate or not adequate, that is a story of another day. See, but you will enjoy that, and you are there, and you are able to meet that. But there will come a time when the laws of this world or this country will say what? Tumetosheka na nini? Your service. And that is the time tunaitaka retirement. The 60 sahi, yeah? But when you get to that 60, what happens? See, life must do what? And for life to continue, there are what? See, there are needs. Si kuna mahitaji. Na hiyo mahitaji iko na inakuja na nini? Sinakuja na gharama. Na hiyo gharama ndio unajiuliza nitaweza. And you have had the testimonies. Si ni kweli? You ask yourself, am I able to meet the cost of these needs? Because life must do what? Life must continue. I know people, what Albert was saying. Leo utasema nilikuwa nimenunua kaploti, mwingine amejenga manyumba za kukodesha, mwingine akaenda akanunua matatu, mwingine, all those things happen, eh? But you ask yourself, kama hujai kuwa manager for all this time, hujai fanya biashara, utafanya at 60? Na hata ukifanya simamiaka ngiozi zinaenda, na kama zinaenda nguvu nayo inafanya nini? Yes, watoto tena wanakuja tena na succession planning including ya inheritance. Ama mnafikiri inheritance is succession planning? Sasa hivi anafanya succession planning, anafanyia mali yako. Sikusomesha mtoto ukisema ati nikikuwa mzee anakuja kunichunga. Wakiendaga Nairobi kazi kama wewe, wanakuja mara ngapi nyumbani kwa mwaka? Christmas kama hajaambiwa ni kwenda pande ile nyingine, si ndio? Utakuwa na bahati sana akikuja. Tunaelewana? Kwa sababu unaweza kuwa unangojea huko Budalangi, huko Dala, huko kameenda Kitui. Wewe unangojea bebo bagi ya Naivas. Si ni kweli? So kweli hiyo kusomesha mtoto imekusaidia? Inasaidia mtoto mwenyewe. Saa zingine tena anakuja, Yesu amekuja akamalizia ile yote alikuletea. Kurudi Nairobi, ni nani anatoa fare? Si ndio wewe? Haya, fees ikikosekana huko Nairobi ya watoto, unasema mjukuu yangu. Unatumana tena ile ya nani alikuwa amesema sijui kalikuwa na plot na kashamba hata konda. Sasa hiyo fees ya wajukuu ndio itakukondesha. Sinaona? Wakihitaji wamehitaji. Sasa ile nyumba ulijenga ya kukondesha, utapata wameanza kugawa. Kwanza kama umejenga Nairobi na amekuja Nairobi na ana pahali pa kukaa, hiyo number 1 unamwambia afanye nini? Akaage. Kwa hiyo wewe ukule ile ingine 9, silikuwa 10. Before ujue yeye ndiye anachukua rent yote ya yote anaanza na kwanza anasema mtoto amekuwa mgonjwa, sasa wacha tuchukue rent ya huyu jirani tupeleke naye mtoto hospitali. Unamwambia hiyo ni ya mchukuu, chukua ya huyo hata na namba 3. Before ujue atakuwa akichukua yote 9. Na wale wengine sasa watasema bro anakula pesa maadhi huko ya manyumba. Hata wanakuja sema usichukuage sasa ya hii nyumba. Mwisho wako ni hapa. So that brings us now to the reality of having to prepare for that retirement time. Okay? And you find always it's an industry which most of the people normally ignore. But it's a very, very important industry which you yourself, when you are in your active life, needs to ensure that you save for that rainy season. You will not be the first one to retire, for your information. People have been retiring since what? Since time immemorial. So if you will not be the first one, you have been seeing your grandfathers, your mothers, and the rest have been retiring, both in civil service and also in private sector. Where you sit, you can see the difference. You can see the difference. Siku ile alikuwa kazini na saa hii. Na kama alitengeneza retirement yake vizuri na kama hakutengeneza, you can differentiate. You can differentiate. And that now brought about this industry of the retirement benefit being developed so that when you are in active employment, you prepare for that time. How to do these things? Most of the employers made arrangements, like the civil service under Bima House. They created what we call a funded scheme. So the government came up with a funded scheme for civil service. So most of these benefits can be done between you and the employer. The big question, we need to talk about the adequacy of this. So we have 3 types of schemes which the government decides to put in place. One of the reasons or one of the objectives of that advocacy for social security is to eradicate the old age poverty. And that is why you find you have social security schemes like NHIF. NHIF used to be only sunakatia hata you are shosho at 80 na unamlipia hiyo 500. Inasaidia ama haisaidii? Inasaidia ama isaidi? That is a perfect form of social security. And when it comes again to the old age, there are social security schemes. The national government, where you sit, most of you, have a funded scheme. The other day, we really advocated as a social security advocate and say, let this scheme become a defined. Who is the beneficiary? Siniwewe. Because how it works is that a defined contributory scheme, you contribute, the employer contributes, it goes for the investment in the administrator, and the time when you are retiring, all the civil service, most employers have also arranged for what we call occupational schemes. It's been there, and it only needs to be enhanced. Where you contribute, the employer contributes, and it goes to the administrator for what? For investment. At the end of the day, who is the beneficiary? You are. Number three, we got again what we call the individual pension schemes. Okay? Where what happens is that you are not employed, you are not in any employment, so you don't have a sponsor who is the employer. So what happens? You can also prepare for your retirement as an individual, you can prepare for your children, you can prepare for your workers and the rest under what you call individual pension. Then, let's leave it. Let me talk over it first. You can prepare for your employees, you can prepare yourself, but you contribute on your own. Nowadays, the schemes allow us for individuals to prepare for their retirement. Number four, most employers right now, including the government, are employing people on what? Yes? On contractual terms. Okay? Which is actually very dangerous for some of us. It's actually very dangerous because you don't have what? A job security as such. You get it? And it's very worrying. Before you start, imeisha. So, where I sit, we might not have control over that. It's the employer who decides. But I can advise on what to do with that short period so that by the time you are leaving, you are able also to get something out of that short period. So we created a scheme called a gratuity scheme. It normally happens, and those ones who understand a gratuity, it's a package which is normally administered for completing a what? A successful what? A successful term. It's normally saying you get 31% for every 1 month worked upon completion of a successful what? Term. If you don't complete it successfully, what happens? You lose it. Okay? So we looked at and said, why can't these people earn their gratuity in advance instead of in arrears? Okay? Because what happens to that, assuming that you completed your term successfully, utafanyiwa hiyo principal amount yote inakuja 1 million, alafu the taxman anakuja anafanya nini? Ananyonga gapi? 30%. Hiyo inaenda na 300 unabaki na 700. But when you earn it in advance, because it says it's 31% of every 1 month worked, meaning if you want to work for that month, you deserve what? You deserve a 31% gratuity. So what we say, why can't you register with the schemes and then ensure that when you are remitting for the other employees, remit also to the account of these other people in the scheme, lakini atashika hii pesa. The time and complete the successful term, you will have remitted all the money to the scheme. You kuandikia tu what? Clearance. The services of your scheme, chorea RBA. RBA watakuwa na sisi. Tunaelewana? The schemes who administers your pensions are called administrators. They are in charge of these records, collections, claims, and everything. That is why we told you for us, records is very, very important, and that is why we went for a robust system to manage the records, because we are dealing with pensioners almost, the pensioners almost 80,000. You can imagine all those records. And services right now is supposed to be, the turnaround time should be the shortest in any service to the members. And that is why systems and records are very, very important for us where we sit. The second one is the fund managers. And KCB is one of our fund managers. Custodians, I mean. The second one is the custodians. The custodians keep valuables of all the assets of the pension scheme, and they must be registered with the regulator also. You don't just pick a custodian who is not registered with the RBA. They keep all the cash, all the valuable certificates, shares and the rest are kept by the custodians. You only recall on need basis. When you want to pay claims, you recall the money. Then we have what we call the fund managers. Also independent, but you have to work together. Fund managers, kazi yao ni sokoni. They are doing investment of all the assets of the schemes. So the youth and the employer contributes. And in that one, those people who are in civil service right now, the PSS is purely a defined contributory scheme also. That is how it works. You contribute, just move. That is how it works. The employer contributes, employee contributes, interest, and you get your full benefits at the end of the period. Now, all these defined contributory schemes, I don't know whether your PSS will capture. We normally have what we call retirement benefits, RPPs, which is a risk-based benefits. Say that if you are a member of this scheme, God forbid, somebody passes on in service, we pay 100,000 as a last expense, as a funeral grant within 48 hours. Again, after that, we have what we call a group life. Whether you pass on as a member after working only for 2 months or 10 years or 20, we pay 36 months salary, gross salary, to you as a group life. So even if you had contributed 100,000 to the scheme, and your 3 times salary is 10 million, we will pay 10 million. And you let us go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.